we have the Kansas State Wildcats, and everyone knows Kansas State last year for their deep tournament run, and then Keontae Johnson and his comeback story, and that was amazing. And then there's Marquise Noel, who was just lighting up the world on fire during the tournament. What we forget is Jerome Tang was in his first year and way, way ahead of schedule at Kansas State. They were not supposed to do this at any point, especially in year one. Ben, I'm not making the same mistake about Kansas State 2 years in a row. I know their roster looks different. Still, I'm not making the same mistake. What do you think?
I think that they have a really good top six, right? They have the three players we see here. Tyler Perry is a fantastic player, right? Mm-hmm. Not Marquise Noel-esque per se, but like just he's going to be a good replacement, right? He did great things at North Texas in a really slow offense, right? So you might even see those numbers increase as he gets to Kansas State. Naquan Tomlin is a great forward. He did his job when he in the first year, being that third option next to Johnson and Noel. And then Arthur Kaluma didn't have the best season last year at Creighton, or at least in comparison to expectations, but he's still a really nice piece that they picked up from the transfer portal. And then they also have Cam Carter, David N'Guessan, and Quez Glover coming in from Stanford as well. Those are six. And then I don't know what it looks like after that. And that's where I'm a little concerned, especially with the grind of the Big 12 schedule, like it always is. Are you going to be able to have the depth in the front court to be able to, maintain against foul trouble for N'Guessan and Tomlin? Are you going to just be able to defend with a particularly small lineup, in my opinion, right? Especially in the backcourt. I just have a little bit of concerns, but at the end of the day, it's Jerome Tang, and I think he's shown us enough to where we can trust him to figure this out a little bit, at least.
Yeah, that's. I think for that reason, I wouldn't have Kansas State like top 15, but yeah. I would have them a few spots, like maybe 5 or 6 spots higher than 31, because here's the thing, right? There are some question marks outside of your top 6. It's very thin there. Then again, we're like, how many teams have we talked about in the past that have 8 or 9 established guys? Those are the teams that we're going to talk about in the coming episodes. So they are more talented than the teams we talked about in the past in their top 6. And I think it really, like, I want to emphasize just how good of a hooper Tyler Perry is from North Texas, like you said, because I think he is perfectly capable of leading a team at this Big 12 level. 17.3 points per game last year. You mentioned it, but I just want to reiterate. They played at the slowest tempo in the country last year. 17.3 points per game is extremely impressive at North Texas. That's the reason he won Conference USA Player of the Year. Also was the NIT MVP. The assist numbers were not too high, but again, you have to understand where he's coming from. He was coming from that North Texas offense, and you needed to create a lot off the bounce in that offense. I think that's going to be really good for a Jerome Tang offense as well. So you got Tyler Perry, you got Tomlin and Kaluma, like you mentioned. That's a really good 3 and 4. It's real solid. The depth is what's separating them from the teams we're going to talk about in the coming episodes, but their starting lineup is just as good.